Hey, my name is Melody, and welcome to Season 2 of the I'm Okay podcast. It's called I'm Okay because when people ask me how I'm doing, I don't really know how to answer. Because how do you encompass your whole life into one word? So sometimes I just say, okay. So that's kind of what this podcast is trying to process what's going on in the world, which there's a lot of bullshit. And I also struggle with mental health. But I talk about all sorts of other things that come up in the week. And it's pretty cool that some other people actually enjoy listening to it. So thanks for being here. And let's get started. Hi. I am a baby tarot reader. I've been practicing this for the past 5 months, and it's a lot of fun. I come to this practice when I'm needing direction for something, feeling a bit lost, and the imagery of these cards I find have helped guide me and give me a different perspective on situations. So this week I was wanting some direction and insight into what to do about the current situation of our world and how to think about it. And this was such a profound reading that I wanted to share it with you. And I hope it's as encouraging to you as it was to me. And direction, because it gave some perspectives, attitudes, and actions that we can do to move through this situation well and to the best of our ability. So I'm going to describe the reading that I did, and I'm using the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot deck by Lana Zellner. And because I'm still new to this, I also checked out some online resources to get the fullest picture I can about each card. So when I used a rose spread, it's called, and in the middle is this card is the core issue the reading is about, and I got strength. Strength is having control over yourself even when everything is stacked against you. Persevering through challenging times. Strength shows itself when there's pushback, hardship, and suffering, and opposition. You don't look at someone lying on the beach and immediately think strength. You think strength when a situation looks like it's going to swallow a person whole, and instead the person survives and they push through. So this card shows a woman taming a lion who's trying to swallow her whole. There's an obvious beast in the world right now, but there's also hidden monsters that aren't getting airtime. It's still freezing cold and people are on the streets. People are recently heartbroken. Parents have lost children. And in your life, maybe your mental health is struggling. Maybe your family relationships are broken. Maybe you have bills to pay for and they're scaring you because you're not sure how you're going to pay for them. So this reading is for you. It's about strength. Challenging times are strength's homeland. breathe in and know your greatness. You have suffered before, and maybe worse, so you know that you can do it again. Or maybe you haven't suffered this bad. So look back at what you've learned from smaller trials and apply them in a bigger way. And here's the thing. Know when to ask for help, but also don't wait around for someone to rescue you. You can control your thoughts and actions, usually. So pick up your strength and kick ass. That's what this card brings you and is about. The next card is about your past feelings and attitudes about the issue at hand. And I got the Hermit. This card depicts a man who has devoted his life to following the lamp of truth, to self-improvement, reflection, and enlightenment. As a young man, he got distracted by the drama and noise of everyday life. He was caught in the rat race of making something of himself and finding his place in the world. Solitude taught him that he must find home within himself. The Hermit's environment is a barren, dark mountain. He is no longer held captive by the materialism of human culture. He has learned to be present and is content with nothing. Let your mind go quiet. Allow yourself time to search inside for the answers you're looking for. Be patient as you allow yourself to grow and change with wisdom that only comes from time and quiet contemplation. I laughed when I saw the Hermit come up second because it's clearly a big theme right now. But this card is more about an inner contemplation than outer. And the following cards, I think, are helpful to understand how to do solitude in a healthy way that's more well-rounded. And that leads us to the next card, which represents the universe's advice for the present. And I got the 10 of Cups, which is one of my favorite cards and one of the most positive cards in the deck. It represents the perfection of human love and friendship. It reminds us to look to those who love us when times are hard and sad. Don't be like the Hermit in the present moment. Be with the ones you love dearly. The Hermit came up in the past, but when asking about the present, the universe showed us the 10 of Cups. The cabin in this card is small and simple, but the couple loves it nonetheless because relationships are the real riches. The mandala on the man's wrist symbolizes peace and balance, a needed thing today. Draw on this card. It's for you. This card tells us to find joy in the priceless things, to forgive and release grudges we've been holding onto, and open your heart to familial love, both chosen family and given family. Some of you may be in situations where your physical space has to be more hermit-like. But remember that the universe's advice for the present is the 10 of Cups, the perfection of human love and friendship. The following card is about your present feelings and ideas. And I got the World. This is the last card of the major arcana. The tarot deck is separated into the major arcana and the minor arcana. And the major arcana carry a bit more weight than the minor arcana. So this is the last card of that suit or set. And it represents the end of a cycle. It shows completion and reflecting back on everything that has happened over the past season of life. The reflections you have are appreciative, and any self-criticism is intentionally put aside so you can admire the truly wonderful things you have done. It's based in gratitude. This card usually has 4 beasts in the 4 corners of the card, which represents the 4 elements, the 4 points on a compass, the 4 suits of the tarot, and the 4 seasons. Again, showing wholeness and completion. And all the while, the woman, which is the focal point of the card, is suspended in the center. She's connected to the wholeness of the universe. Or in another way of saying, she is present and in awe of everything. She is in the clouds above the busyness of the world and reflecting on the wonder of it all before a new season begins. The next card is about where the situation is headed. And I got the 3 of Swords, which is another one of my favorite cards. And it's one of the most sorrowful or negative cards in the deck. It's about heartbreak, loneliness, and sadness. This may have come from a lost relationship, death, or deep emotional sorrow. It's what a spell of severe depression looks like for me. The 3 swords that have pierced this woman's heart represent words, actions, or intentions that have harmed you. It impacts the emotional and the physical self. The situation is fragile, and so are the people involved. Be kind to yourself as well as others as you learn to move past or through the pain. Remember, this is where the situation is headed. But if we look back on our reading so far, there are tools to avoid or at least help us with this heartbreak. Remember that your strength is the center. Withdraw from the chaos to contemplate wisdom. But that is a past card. So solitude in this reading is not a prolonged event. The advice for the present is to be close to those you love. And you are observing the end of one season and the change into another. Appreciate what has transpired. Stay above the chaos. And also accept that things are going to look different now. Now, as somebody with severe depression, I have seen this card literally and metaphorically many times. I can do all of those steps and still feel horribly sad and helpless to the darkness. I like Zellner's advice at the end. She says, be kind to yourself, because that is all you can do sometimes. And the last card of this reading is about the universe's advice for the future. And I got the Ace of Pentacles. This is a really hopeful card to end on. It represents new beginnings and prosperity. It brings positive, inspirational, and exciting energy to your life. It signifies abundance in all areas of life, with security and stability. This card is a gift. Often, the greatest gifts are those that teach us to be a stronger person, which brings us back to the center of our reading, strength. This sequence of cards is telling us that the hardships we are currently experiencing will turn into very positive gifts if we use wisdom to understand the situation and remain calm above the chaos. This is a financial card, and I'm uncomfortable with any kinds of promises of prosperity, but I also wanted to be honest with my reading. The Ace of Pentacles shows financial reward and increase on the horizon. So I'd like to put my own caution or wisdom with that. Don't wait on more money to come, but look at what you already have and spend smarter. You don't know how? There's a million resources online. Talk to a friend who seems to have their shit together. Talk to someone at your local bank. They can help you budget and save. I love budgeting and saving. You can always ask me. If you spend and save with wisdom and calm, not out of impulse, anxiety, or pressure, you will naturally see this card come to fruition. But nevertheless, this card is ultimately showing a promising future with security and stability at its core. That is an incredible promise and hope to end on. Now, there's one other card from my spread that I didn't include because it didn't really resonate with me, which happens because they're just cards. A lot of it has to do with the energy that you put into it, the intention. Because it's about your headspace. As an artist, I can find beauty and meaning in anything. And so this one just didn't really resonate, but I thought I would include it at the end, kind of like a bonus for my super dedicated listeners who made it all the way to here, because who knows, it might resonate with you. So your past actions have been the King of Swords. And this card represents someone who makes decisive, intellectual, and reasonable decisions. The king values honesty and integrity, while not giving airtime to nonsense and dramatic displays of ego. The king is mature and prepared to face whatever life throws at him. He takes responsibility. He doesn't play the victim card because he takes charge of his own life. He is responsible in caring for his kingdom and people well. This is a card of stability and clarity, not confusion and sweeping change. The king chooses his battles wisely. He adequately prepares for them and fights for what is best for him and his people. So maybe that speaks to you about your current situation. That this was under your past actions, and maybe you're to remember that, or maybe you're to move towards a different approach. But anyway, that is our reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, you know how to talk to me. Bye.